What's up, Steelers Nation? I know this hasn't been a great playoffs for us, being that we got knocked off against the Cleveland Browns. You know, everybody expected us to win, but it didn't happen. So as I sit here and stare into my crystal ball, just wanted to look ahead to the off season and see what's up with the Pittsburgh Steelers and what do I expect and what type of moves do I think that they should make. Just looking ahead, of course, Ben Roethlisberger, that's the big thing right now. Should they bring him back? Should they not bring him back? He has one more year left on his contract. And as I sit here right now, it looks like they are going to bring him back simply because the cap hit of, I think it is $20 million, would just be too big just to, let him go. And even if he does retire, we will incur a cap hit. So, we're going to take a look at the offseason with the thinking that Ben Roethlisberger will be back next year. So, having said that, let's go over the offense and let's go over the defense. And I'll let you guys know what I think that should happen and what they should do. Now, looking ahead, starting with the defensive side of things in 2021, let's start with the linebackers. Now, Devin Bush, we all know he got hurt against Denver, so he'll be back. I'm looking forward to him progressing and growing as a player, being that fast inside linebacker that we was missing ever since Ryan Shazier got injured. So he should be teaming up with Vince Williams, and I like those two as a team at the inside linebacker position. They complement each other well. Vince Williams, the steady veteran inside linebacker that can rush the passer, can play the run, and he brings a lot of knowledge and wisdom to the position that he can share with Devin Bush, being that he's still a pretty young player. So I think them two as a tandem can be a great tandem. Actually, like I said, they complement each other very, very well. So I'm super excited to see Devin Bush's growth next year. I know he's coming off the ACL, but that happened so early in the season that he should be recovered quite well from it, knock on wood. So, at the backing up them at the inside linebacker position, you have Robert Spillane, who was a pleasant surprise this year. He came on after Devin Bush got hurt, and of course he had the big hit against the Tennessee Titans on Derrick Henry. And he actually made some splash plays this year. He had the pick six on Lamar Jackson. And he was a good presence. Before he got hurt, I was saying to myself that I was super excited to see how he grows throughout the season. One question we have to ask ourselves next year, will the Steelers allow him to, and we know he's not going to take Devin Bush's spot, but will they allow him to compete with Vince Williams for that inside linebacker position? Maybe during the offseason, Spillane puts on some weight and does some things physically to get better. He didn't look that big to me just watching him on TV. So if he can add a few pounds, maybe 10 to 15 pounds, so he can play the run maybe as effectively as Vince Williams, can he shine in that role next to Devin Bush? Who knows? But, in my opinion, I think he has earned the right to at least compete with Vince Williams for the starting inside linebacker position next offseason. And we also have Ulysses Gilbert, who's been just pretty much in the background since he's been here. He's shown some flashes in the offseason being a fast inside linebacker, but I really haven't got a chance to see him enough to really say, hey, this guy should get an opportunity to compete for some playing time. So it looks like he'll be with us again. I'm not sure of his contract situation, but, he is that fast inside linebacker that, you know, if they need to put some speed on the field, he's a body that can do so. And also taking a look at the inside linebackers, they played Marcus Allen, who was a converted safety there this year, and he held his own in some spots. You know, he wasn't a guy that they put out there and I looked at like, oh, the offense is taking advantage of him. He's just not getting it done. So we'll see how he progresses as he moves on throughout his career during his time with the Steelers. Now, taking a look at the secondary hitting towards 2021. Of course, you got Joe Hayden. What scares me about him is he is getting older. Yes, I didn't see any drop off in his play this year, but he will be a year older. I believe he'll be 31 next year. So, you know, it comes that time where he might just fall down a couple pegs or start to head down that cliff, you know, that usually comes with age. So beyond that, we got Steven Nelson. He's a good number 2 quarter. Nothing more, nothing less. We seen what happened when Joe Hayden was missed that week when we played Buffalo, and basically Stephon Diggs ate Steven Nelson alive. You know, it was just, that was the game right there that told me, okay, yeah, he's a good number 2 corner, but he's not going to be a number 1. He isn't a number 1. So, you know, he is what he is. So, you know, he's a number 2. And taking a look at the nickelback situation, Mike Hilton and Cameron Sutton, both of those guys is free agents. I believe someone may come and offer Mike Hilton a big contract. And of course, due to our cap situation, we're not going to be able to probably offer Mike Hilton enough to really keep him in the black and gold. So I fully expect Mike Hilton to be playing for another team in 2021. I don't think Cameron Sutton is going to ask for that much money. I think we may be able to sign him to be a nickel cornerback. He's better in coverage than Mike Hilton, so that's one of the good things about him. Although we lose the versatility of a Mike Hilton as far as being able to play the run and rush the passer and things like that, and just with his instincts, you know, he was always one of those guys that seemed like he was at the right place at the right time, you know, but we do gain coverage ability with Cameron Sutton, you know, so with Hayden, Steven Nelson, and Cameron Sutton moving into 2021, I think we'll be okay. You know, I'm not worried about those 3 at all. Now, looking at the defensive line, we, of course, got Cameron Hayward, who they signed at the beginning of this season to the big contract that I was against. I'll admit I was against, you know, because I would rather use that money for a Bud Dupree. But unfortunately, Bud Dupree got injured, and it showed that they made the right decision as far as giving the money to Cameron Hayward. So at the nose tackle, we got Tyson Alualu, who had a very good season. I think he surprised a lot of people by the way he played. He just showed growth, you know, which is unexpected at this stage of his career. So, you know, hopefully we could get the same production out of Tyson Alualu that we did this year, next year, you know, and that will go a long way to making our defense pretty formidable. Of course, we got Stephon Tuitt. I think he had a good year. I wouldn't say that he had a great year or an excellent year, but I think Stephon Tuitt had a good year. You know, I think for me though, it seemed like when he came, I think it was a point in the season he was injured. But to me, when he came back from his injury, I don't think he made a heck of a lot of plays. He made his plays here and there, but I don't think he had a Pro Bowl season. So, you know, moving forward, I expect him to have a good season. You know, looking ahead to 2021, which should definitely help the defense out. Of course, we're going to lose Bud Dupree, but Alex Highsmith showed me that he's more than capable of holding down that position of outside linebacker. And I'm super excited to see where his career is headed and how much he's going to grow going into his second season in 2021. Will he be able to consistently take the pressure off of TJ Watt so that offensive lines do not focus on TJ Watt? And, will he be able to make as many plays as Bud Dupree did? Bud Dupree, as we all know, was a slow developing player. It seemed like this year was the year that he was going to finally reach his full potential, but unfortunately he got hurt and he's a free agent. So I don't think we'll be able to sign Bud Dupree. So it's all up to Alex Highsmith to show that he can step up and hopefully he can reach his full potential quicker than Bud Dupree reached his. And it's looking like that might be likely by the way he played as a rookie. There was times in the Cleveland game, to me, Alex Highsmith looked like he was the best pass rusher out there. And I know TJ Watt did not play in that game, the last game of the season. But, that even says more, being that he didn't have TJ Watt out there to get the attention of the offensive line, and he still ball out the way he did. So I'm super excited to see how Alex Highsmith is going to grow for our team next season. I fully expect our defense to be elite in 2021. So Steelers Nation, I wouldn't worry about our defense at all. I think we'll have an elite defense in 2021, and in today's NFL, you still need that elite defense, because these offenses, they have flying. And a lot of points is being scored. And I truly believe that defense still wins championships, especially when you have an older quarterback such as us. So let's move on to the offensive side of things. And of course, we have the wily old vet, Ben Roethlisberger. Like I said, I fully expect him to play out his last year of his contract. And I just want to see the Steelers treat him like Denver Broncos treated John Elway at the end of his career. Let's lean on the running game, and let's make Ben Roethlisberger be that game manager. And I know I use the word make, and that's because you're probably going to have to make him. He's pretty much at this stage of his career, seems like he's set in his ways. And, he just, with the 2 Super Bowls that he's won, he wants to do what he wants to do, and the Steelers have to get their point across to him. Like, look, this is your last season, I think this is your last season. You're probably going to retire. So let us help you, help us help you, take some of the load off of you. Let us lean on the running game. Speaking of which, James Conner, we'll probably end up losing him. I don't know. He might be easy to resign, being that he's got all these injuries and he hasn't put up really gaudy numbers. The numbers really hasn't been there. I know he was having a great season the 1 year before he got injured, but what team is really going to want to play James Conner a whole bunch of money when it's almost a guarantee that he's going to be injured? So we might have a sign. Plus, he might take a hometown discount. So we might have an opportunity to sign James Conner. But what I was saying, we definitely got to rely on the running game next year. If we lose James Conner, then I fully expect the Steelers to draft a running back with their first pick, unless a person is there we don't expect a beater, such as Trey Lance, who obviously would be a blessing for us to have Trey Lance come in and sit behind Ben Roethlisberger and learn for a year, then take over the reins when he retires. That would be a blessing if Trey Lance is there in the first round. But, because he's sort of built like Big Ben, 6'5", 6'4", about 240 pounds. So around the same body type. And that would be awesome if we could get a guy like Trey Lance with our #1 overall pick. But if we don't, I fully expect them to draft a running back with the #1 overall pick. I know the name being thrown out there is Najee Harris from Alabama, 6'2", 230 pounds, looking like a little bit smaller than Derrick Henry, but and a little bit more athletic. You know, as we see on the Alabama highlights with him hurdling people, and if he can put on maybe 5-10 pounds, get stronger, he could be a more athletic Derrick Henry. We know Derrick Henry's 250 pounds. Just such a bull toting that rock. So Najee Harris, and plus Najee Harris brings something that Derrick Henry doesn't, which is he catches passes out of the backfield. And we know what we do with tall running backs like 6'1", 6'2", that can catch passes out of the backfield. With Le'Veon Bell, when he was here with us, you know, before he had the contract dispute and all that. Upright running style, tall running backs. You know, you go all the way back to Franco Harris, 6'1", 6'2". But, you know, I fully expect them to draft a running back with that #1 overall pick. Another name being thrown out there is Travis Etienne. I haven't watched too much film on him, but, you know, the film that I did see of him breaks a lot of tackles. Really exciting. Comes from a winning program. Was one of the top playmakers on a Clemson team that was always competing for a national championship. So I wouldn't be surprised, or I wouldn't be opposed to them drafting a running back with that #1 overall pick. I know a lot of people really don't want to use a high pick on a running back, but I'm one of those people that running backs can still be game changers. You know, I really don't think that they should run him into the ground as far as the primary ball carrier. Even if they do draft a running back next year with the first overall pick, you know, I think that they should still give a running back like Anthony McFarland some carries just to get a little tandem going on and not put the burden of getting hit all the time on one running back. Because we all know running backs can only take so many hits. They take enough, it'll shorten their careers. And however talented you are, those talents won't be used for a long time. So looking ahead to the offensive line in 2021, we got a lot of people forget, but Zach Banner got hurt. So maybe we could sign him to come back. We never got a chance to see Zach Banner. Remember, he earned the starting, right tackle position before the season started. You know, so he's pretty much a mystery. You know, if he earned the starting position, you know, that tells me that, you know, he could play. He could play a little bit. You know, he's pretty much still a young guy. So, you know, we'll see. What is he going to do? Is he going to grow? How is he going to develop from this year to next year? Can he develop into a capable, good starting tackle? You know, we don't know. We do know what Matt Fowler is, and he's just not that good. You know, I know a lot of people was upset because the Steelers made a mistake of starting him over Kevin Dotson, and it was a mistake. I'm putting that mistake on Mike Tomlin because he's the head coach. He makes the decisions, and that was a wrong decision. He should have kept Kevin Dotson in there, and he should have kept Mike Fowler on the bench against the Cleveland Browns. But looking ahead to next year, I fully expect Kevin Dotson and David DeCastro to be the top guard tandem in the league. Yeah, I said it. That's how high my expectations is. David DeCastro, he may be going to the Hall of Fame. He may be a Hall of Fame guard. Kevin Dotson, the way he played, just came in and balled out, man. So I'm super excited. And even he has room to grow. You know, being that he balled out so much when he came in there, it's just exciting to see where his career is going to go, how much he's going to grow. You know, and if you look at him on TV, he really doesn't even look that big. So once he gets into the NFL weight system and gets stronger, man, that boy can turn into a beast. Picture that guy about 330, 340, 50 pounds of just all muscle, just bulldozing people off the line of scrimmage. Him and DeCastro, you know, so they should be one, like I said, one of the top guard tandems in the league. And then you go to Maurkice Pouncey, man. I'm still disappointed in Maurkice after that first play against Cleveland, man, because in my opinion, that was the play that opened up the floodgates, man. The whole Cleveland Brown team just ran through it. But speaking of Maurkice, as far as next year, you know, he still can be consistently good. You know, so if we're able to get him to come, I know there's been a little bit of chatter about retirement, but if he comes back, looking at the interior line of Kevin Dotson, Maurkice, and David DeCastro, that's a great center guards tandem. Two guards in the center. That's great right there. You know, like I said, Zach Banner, if we bring him back, he's still a mystery. And then Chuks Okafor. Now, Chuks Okafor, I know he played right tackle this year. He looks like a left tackle to me, especially if he continues to develop. But just looking at him on TV, his body type, a little lean, a little slender. Well, you can't really use slender when you're talking about an offensive lineman, but I would consider moving Chuks Okafor over to left tackle where Alejandro Villanueva was and trying Zach Banner at right tackle if we were to bring Zach Banner back. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I think Chuks Okafor, he's athletic, a little bit more athletic than Alejandro Villanueva. And that when you have the athleticism as part of your game as a tackle, those tend to be your left tackles because they usually handle the best pass rushers. So you got to be athletic. And I know a lot of people want an offensive line with that first pick. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but you know, a lot of people think our offensive line struggled this year. In my opinion, that was more scheme. And we all know what happened to Randy Fichtner. He's no longer with us. His scheme was just bad this year. As far as being able to scheme open running lanes for the running backs. And it's just the running game in general. Just getting a running game. You know, everybody knows our running game was bad this year. I mean, in my personal opinion, it was because of the scheme. You know, but we'll get to that in another video. So, you know, those are my thoughts as far as the offensive line. Now let's go to the wide receivers. We all know Juju Smith-Schuster is a free agent. I would let Juju Smith-Schuster go. I think if a team offers Juju Smith-Schuster a whole bunch of money to be their #1 wide receiver, I think they're going to be sadly mistaken. I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster has the speed, for one, to be a #1 wide receiver. I think with the trio of Chase Claypool coming back, Diontae Johnson, and James Washington, I like that wide receiver trio. I like it. I think that wide receiver trio right there, especially if Chase Claypool continues to develop and grow, I think that could be one of the top wide receiving trios in the league. You know, I want to see James Washington get more playing time. You know, I'm not necessarily sold on, and I know a lot of Steeler Nation and a lot of people got mad love for Diontae Johnson, and me too. But I would start James Washington over them. Like in 2 wide receiver sets, looking ahead to next year, my 2 wide receivers would be James Washington and Chase Claypool. Now, I would like James Washington to start over Diontae Johnson, and here's why. At 215 pounds, he's simply bigger than Diontae Johnson, and he can give you more in the running game as far as on the outside, being able to sustain blocks and helping out more in the running game. At 180 pounds, Diontae Johnson just really isn't going to give you much in the running game. He's not known for his blocking. He's known for his route running and getting open, which is cool if you're a wide receiver because that's what they're supposed to do. But James Washington can get open as well. But he can also help you out more in the running game. Where I think they need to put Deontay Johnson is in the slot. He's a really, really quick wide receiver, as you can see when you watch him run routes. And when you have quickness as a wide receiver, your home, for the most part, needs to be in the slot, where you can use your quickness to shift between those linebackers and things like that, where they can't do nothing with you if you're a really, really, really quick slot receiver in the slot. You can maneuver, you can just sit down in zones and things like that. I like James Washington more on the outside because he's a good deep ball receiver. You know, everybody knows that looking back to his college days, he was known for going deep, going up high pointing balls, running away from defensive backs and things like that. And he showed me that he can run after the catch this year. He had the long run after the catch against the Washington Redskins. So that was great. You know, he really showed me something right there. And Chase Claypool, we all know the rookie year that he had. If he can continue to develop, which the potential is there, because I really thought that he was just going to be a receiver during his rookie year that just runs go routes, just runs by everybody. But you start seeing him really showing off his game, really doing the things that a wide receiver is supposed to do, running out routes, stop routes, slants, skinny posts, along with the deep ball. So if he continues to grow and gets better at all those routes, he's someone that can grow into an all-pro receiver. So, you know, I'm super excited. He's one of those players I'm super excited to see what the future holds for him. So I'm really loving those three wide receivers of Washington, Deontay Johnson, and Chase Claypool hit it in the 2021. And you know, with the Steelers' track record of drafting wide receivers, now I know if we lose Juju, that's going to take away from us depth-wise, but with the Steelers' track record of drafting wide receivers, you know we're going to get one in the third round. He's going to come in, and he's going to be nice. You know, he's going to find a role, and he's going to be there in case we need him, in case somebody gets injured. Now, the last person I want to talk about is Mike Tomlin, the head coach. You know, everybody talks about, you know, within the last 10 years, we don't have that many playoff wins, you know, especially with the talent that we've had. And he's been sort of like a perpetual disappointment. These teams have been a perpetual disappointment in the playoffs. You remember losing to Tebow. You remember losing to Jacksonville. And then we lost to Cleveland. All those teams we were favored to beat. You know, and I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to be straight up. I would fire Mike Tomlin. I mean, I just would. You know, nothing lasts forever. Nothing. You know, eventually things run their course and it is what it is, and you got to move on. You know, and we give somebody a shot that, you know, hey, see what they do. Just like when Kyler left, we gave Mike Tomlin a shot. You know, nobody thought he was going to come in and do what he did, but, you know, he was successful, you know, for some time here. You know, and never had a winning season, so we got to give kudos to him. But, you know, I just feel like it might be time. I feel like it is time, actually. You know, maybe if we would have went that route, maybe they bring in someone who rejuvenates Ben Roethlisberger for his last year. You know, it comes in with all these great new ideas, and, you know, the whole team is like, oh, okay, this is somebody new. This is a new voice. You know, this is exciting. You know, being that, like I said, someone new and they bring in new, fresh ideas and just doing things differently instead of the same things, you know, over and over again. You know, especially, like I said, with the playoff disappointments. This is the Steelers, baby. We held to a higher standard when you playing or you're coaching for the Steelers. I mean, that just is what it is. Yeah, teams might have, you know, standards of going 8-8 or 9-7, but, you know, we got a Super Bowl winning tradition. 6 Super Bowls, and when you have had as much talent as we've had, and you've consistently or a lot of times came up short, then that's a problem. You know, they did replace Randy Fichtner with Matt Canada, and my thoughts on that, it really wasn't a hire to make you go, oh, okay, this is exciting. You know, they went with their ability for stability and promoted from within. I don't know how many new and fresh ideas Matt Canada is going to come with, but we'll see. If it was up to me, I would have went after somebody like Doug Peterson, who has previous head coaching experience and has won a Super Bowl. So he can look Ben Roethlisberger in the eye and say, hey, I won a Super Bowl before too. You know, I might not have won 2, but I won 1. And, you know, you got to listen to me, you know, because I know what I'm doing. I was a head coach too. And I played quarterback in the league. So to me, just based off those 3 things, I think that would have been a fit with us and with Ben Roethlisberger, but we didn't go that route. We went with Matt Canada, probably somebody that Ben Roethlisberger can bully for his last season, but I don't know. We'll see how that relationship goes. So, but anyway, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. That's just my thoughts on the upcoming offseason, 2021 offseason for our Pittsburgh Steelers. Definitely looking forward to it. I think we'll be all right come next year. Will we go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. It all depends on what their philosophy is. You know, like I said, take the burden off Ben. Let's get back to running the football and play great defense. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and keep checking in with the Steelers Guru. I'll be giving you guys more of my thoughts on the 2021 offseason going into next season. And peace.